Phoenix is Transcending. First episode. Hi there. Glad you found us. Glad you're watching. We've got some pretty interesting things to talk about here. My name's Nick Brooks.
And mine's just Mike.
What are we about? What is Phoenix is Transcending? What does the Phoenix represent? Rebirth. And that is most certainly what has happened to me in the past year, and that's what I want to talk about. And I've talked this guy into helping me do this because I'm not tech savvy and I've never done anything like this before, but because of personal events, life experience, something that happened to me around a year ago, I need to do this, and I want people to hopefully get back to me if they've had anything similar happen to them, like what I'm going to talk about. And I want just some feedback, conversation. That's what this is really all about, is just about
discussion.
Just discussion on things that happened in my life and what's happening kind of around us in society, and maybe how it all relates, and just discussion, just fun discussion, hopefully so we can figure some things out, because that's the only way you can figure things out is by talking about it. And so, once again, Phoenix is Transcending. The phoenix is the symbol of rebirth. It's old, been around forever, and basically man must be born again. That's what that means to me. And transcending, it's basically it's pushing yourself past the limits that you thought you were capable of. And that's something that I have been working on, trying to do every day. Quick example, telling the truth. Trying to tell the truth every single day. Even the white lies, just wiping them out, trying to be 100% honest. And let me tell you, that's not an easy thing. Try it for a week. Try to go a week without telling a single lie, and you'll know exactly what I mean. But anyway, why am I doing this? Why did I talk him into doing this with me? Evil. I came across something around a year or so ago that was so evil that it's left me unable to figure it out, even after thousands of hours of theory crafting, just working at it, picking it apart, trying to understand what I experienced, why I experienced, what it could mean, what is it, and I've done a good job, and I think in talking about it with you, I think we've dissected some things, but I mean, it's deep, very deep. It's intense, and true evil is something that's really hard to explain. It's hard to understand.
And we don't think that it's only going to be these personal stories. I'm sure that many of you can already relate the time frames from about a year ago at this point.
Yeah, right around
something very evil that we all know.
So right around the first lockdown. The first lockdown to COVID, my life completely changed and will never be the same. And that is why the symbol of the phoenix has become the symbol in the background, and basically the symbol to my life now. I've been born again because of these events. And when I talk about evil, I talk about something that is it's hard to even dive into and explain. Let's say betrayal, let's say coercion, threats on my life, threats on my daughter's life. A group of people who seem aimed at a certain outcome. Let's just call it a cabal. I've come across a cabal who have threatened me after they spent a while trying to persuade me into certain things that I never had really thought of doing, never planned on doing. And I'll just briefly touch on it. We're going to go into much, much more detail, but I call them the Satanic Swingers. And basically a group of people in my area, which is the suburbs of Chicago. They spent a good amount of time very subtly, is that proper? Subtly? Very, very sly-like, trying to push me and convince me that that swinging is the lifestyle for me. And when I did not want to become part of it, when I let it be known that, listen, this isn't something I'm into, I won't be doing this, so you guys have at it, but I won't be partaking in this. Then they became very angry and started to threaten me and threaten the well-being of my family. They put out there, now mind you, this is all done, everything is done through, and this is people I'm hoping that similar events have, I'm not hoping that it's happened to you, I'm just hoping to find others that this might have happened to, so I can talk with you, because I most certainly don't wish this upon anyone. But all of these threats, all of these different things were all done in the very, very sneaky form of riddles, innuendos, stories, basically gaslighting. That's going to be a subject we touch upon very, very deeply here. Gaslighting is something I didn't even know anything about until a little over a year ago when this all started happening. Didn't even know what it meant. And now I consider myself a very researched expert on gaslighting. What it is, who does it, why they do it, how long you have to properly have somebody's trust and even love before you can gaslight them, which is 2 years, by the way. You have to have somebody's love and trust for around the 2-year mark before you can actually gaslight them. Otherwise, it doesn't work properly. So, sexual immorality, that is the subject of my experience. People all around me, all at the same time, friends, long-term girlfriend, people in my community, all of a sudden, right about the same time, amazingly enough, just all making it sound like it was just the thing to do. Everyone's doing it. Why don't you want to do it too?
Yeah, it's normal.
It's just normal. Once you turn 40, that's just kind of what you do. And when I put up a resistance, when I fought it, then it just kept going and going, and then there was almost a severe push to make it seem like, seriously, what's wrong? Are you embarrassed by your birthday suit? Was one of the things that was thrown at me in argument to this. So, evil. Why do I say evil? Well, because gaslighting truly is evil. If it's done the way it was done to me, basically there's no other way to look at it as evil. I didn't want to become part of something. It was against my morals, my values. And because of that, the gaslight got turned, I'm going to say down, because that's, if you know what gaslighting is and what it comes from, or the term comes from, it's from an Alfred Hitchcock movie back in the day, an old movie, where the husband is turning the gaslight down, and when his wife asks him, "Why is it so dark in here?" he says, "Well, what are you talking about, babe? It's just like it always is. What, are you feeling okay? Is everything all right?" And he tries to convince her that she's losing her mind. That way he can take her family's wealth and put her in an insane asylum. And that is exactly what my ex-girlfriend and long-term friends of mine and people around me were trying to do. They were trying to convince me that I was not mentally well through use of similar phrases, even similar numbers in every conversation, similar stories, little innuendos, little jabs at me personally, that only people would know if they had conversation with my girlfriend, little, personal bits of information. They would only know it if they had talked to her, but they would put it out there in a story or in a little innuendo.
Stuff you can just brush off as just traditional conversation.
Yeah,
not anything out there. Just subtleties.
If you know what I'm talking about, please message us, get in touch with us. I want to talk to you because you will know. You'll know what this is like. Riddles. When my ex, right around the 2-year mark, she started to change. Things started to be said. Riddles started to be put out there. Beautiful, intricate, detailed riddles. I would call her the Riddler when she'd do it. She would paint me a picture. She would tell me exactly what she wanted to tell me without really having to say it in true speech, like what? True conversation. It would all be innuendos and secret little messages that some of them I'm still picking apart today. Some of them are so intricate, so well thought out that I couldn't dissect them all at once. The things will just hit me to this day. Be like, oh my gosh.
The complexities kind of seem like it's a bit beyond just the one person that we're talking about.
Without a doubt. And that is where the cabal comes in, because there's no other possible way that some of this stuff could be done if not through the organized planning of a large group of people, which makes me wonder what some of these secret societies, these cults, are all about. And I believe that is most certainly what my ex-girlfriend was part of. She was born and raised to do exactly what she did. Psychological warfare, gaslighting, Darvo. Those of you who have a clue what I'm talking about probably know what Darvo is, but really quick, it's a psychological warfare tactic. Deny, attack, reverse the victim and the offender. And when done properly, it's
don't know what hit you.
Don't know what hit
Absolutely
you.
No
Don't
idea.
know what hit you. It takes you. It takes you by surprise, and you know how it does it? It does it exactly by pulling on your heartstrings, and that's what this is. That's what some of this is all about, and this is what we're seeing, and this is why I think it's related to what we're seeing in our everyday society right now, and shoot, even our government and some of the things that we're experiencing as Americans. It seems everywhere, but misleading truths. Say 5%. 5% truth is enough to make something seem believable, and it makes you want to believe it when someone tells you. But 5% truth means it's 95% bullshit, and you got to think about that. Gaslighting, we've already talked about that. That is everywhere. That's all part of putting things out there, putting lies out there, rephrasing things, rebranding things,
Things don't mean what they used to.
Things don't mean what they used to. Mirroring. What do I mean by that? That would be somebody using what they know about you against you, and that is all part of psychological warfare. They seem to know what you like, what you're into, who you are, and what you are empathetic towards, and then they use that against you by pulling on your heartstrings, your empathy, your compassion. And let me tell you, these people who are using this, if they are part of this dark triad, this cult of basically what I call soldiers, they are born and raised. Their parents basically donated them to this cause, this evil cause, and they are human beings that have everything except what makes you human, which is guilt, empathy, compassion. They're evil. What do I mean by the dark triad? You can look that up, and if you know somebody that's in this club, they are basically defined as evil. That is what true evil is expressed as. People who are part of this group have been the ones that throughout history seem to be behind everything evil. They are narcissistic, psychopathic, and they also have the category of Machiavellianism, just a complete lack of empathy, anything that is human, and they know what your weakness is, and they use it against you. So what do you think?
Well, we definitely have done a lot of discussion on our own terms and with those around us, but we really are looking to just broaden our horizons and open conversation with many more people. And of course, we have our own ideas.
I've got lots of ideas.
Many of them to be discussed. So stay tuned. If you guys have your own stories you want to talk about, send us. Comments are open. There's contact information in the description. We'd love to hear it. We really would.
To ignore evil is to become an accomplice. That's a sign that I drove past when I was recovering from post-traumatic stress due to this. I was trying to get back to work. I was trying to forget about all of this, just focus on my job, on my life. And right there on the side of the road was that sign. That's a quote by Martin Luther King. To ignore evil is to become an accomplice. And that's what this is all about. I came across evil, and I couldn't brush it aside. I need to talk about it. I talk about it with anyone and everyone who will listen. Anyone who will lend me an ear. I talk about my experience, what happened, and for the most part, most people do not want to talk about it. They don't want to even listen to me. Most people seem scared or act in a manner that would tell me that they almost know what I'm talking about, but they'd rather not talk about it, and that scares me too. And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. Please get in contact with us. Send us your story, or ask a question. I'm gonna dive into my story very deeply, and it's interesting. Let me tell you. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again.